Turning now to Georgia, where families were left devastated after two firefighters who were once reported missing were found dead. Firefighters Raegan Anderson and her ex-boyfriend Chandler Kuhbander were missing for several days back in June. Later that month, their bodies were found in Tennessee, where it was determined that Anderson kidnapped Kuhbander and shot him to death before turning the gun on herself, ending her own life. Tonight, I am joined by Jane Kuhbander, mother of Chandler, the victim in this case. Jane, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And on behalf of everyone here at Court TV, we are so sorry for your loss. And thank you for coming on to give us a sense. Maybe you can try to understand this tragedy. So first and foremost, how's the family holding up at this point?
It's a struggle. It's a real struggle.
I can only imagine. Tell us a little bit about Chandler. I think it's important as we go through this, we get to understand who your son was.
Chandler was an amazing human. He worked really hard to meet his goals and to be a better person every day of his life. He worked really hard to become a firefighter, and he found his passion in firefighting, and he loved it so much. He loved his brother and his sister and his new niece. He loved everybody he met. He was a great person.
Now, tell us a little bit about this relationship. My understanding from what I read is that they were, in fact, high school sweethearts at one point. They were together for a while, and then things sort of broke off. Take us through what you remember about that relationship with Raegan Anderson.
He and Ray had been together for a little over 7 years. They met in high school. My son graduated and they stayed together. They went to prom together, hers and his. She ended up, both proms were done when she lived with me for the senior prom. After that, there was trouble when she lived with us. It was just behavioral. And I just chalked it up to her being a typical teenage girl and wanting to do what she wanted to do. We helped her get to college, and she left for college. And after that, they moved to Atlanta for a little while, where my son was staying with her while she was in college, and it wasn't working out. In 2021, he had messaged our family and said he wanted to come home, and he couldn't find a job there. What he originally wanted to do was be a Navy SEAL, and that didn't work out. And so he came home, came back to Georgia, and Raegan couldn't be without him, and so she followed along. After that, he tried to go to be a real estate agent, and she followed. And he wanted to do something for himself. He ended up working for Walmart for a little while, and then found the fire department. And he had told her about it because they were still friends, even though he was trying to get away from her and trying to separate for some time. And she joined even after he said, don't join. And they ended up in the fire department together. And he tried to make lemonade out of lemons, and he helped train with her, and he trained her. He helped her become the best firefighter she could be, and she was very good, very intelligent. She's very pretty, and he cared very much about her. Over time, they had moved into an apartment, and Raegan wouldn't allow us to go to the house or to know where they lived. And so even though Chandler would come over for holidays, and whenever he could, she would text him until he absolutely had to leave because she was blowing up his phone. And so we'd give her, I love you, go home, go back home, I know, I understand. And later on, we found out that during that whole time, there was a lot of violence that we didn't know about, a lot of violence that was happening from her. She had thrown PlayStations at him, hit him with a belt I had purchased for him for weightlifting. A lot of physical violence was happening on him, and he wouldn't say anything, and he would never hit her or hurt her or do things back. He did try to pin her down. There's 4 different times where a gun has been involved that we are aware of, where she would either tell him she was going to commit suicide. 2 of the times we were involved in, she sent a message to him, and we either went to go find her or we removed him from the home. So those were the 2 times. And unfortunately, one of those incidents, things could have gotten the ball rolling sooner for them to be apart, but because he tried to keep himself from getting hurt with a weapon, he was told that if he filed anything, then he would have to go to jail too, because he held her down to keep her from shooting him.
So Jane, let me just jump in real quick because we're running out of time here. It sounds like there were a number of red flags throughout this relationship, and I just want to make sure we highlight something that I hope folks learn. It's something that we've seen more and more, this idea that it's not just women who can be victimized by domestic violence. Is it fair to say that this case, in terms of the way you viewed it, their relationship and things that went on, that your son was technically a victim of domestic violence, and it ended with domestic violence?
It absolutely did, and he absolutely was. And I hated saying that in the beginning, and I didn't want to put that out there just in case he did get to come home. But he was a victim of domestic violence, and essentially that's what led to his being gone.
And Jane, finally, let me ask you, is there some message? Again, the whole point is to come on and hopefully, help people understand what happened and maybe learn from it. What would you say to folks out there watching and what they could learn from what happened to your son?
Hear what's going on. Know that men are victims too, that it is not just women. Just because she's pretty doesn't mean she's not violent. Just because she's not bigger doesn't mean she can't hurt him. Always say I love you, because you never know when the last time will be. And always have those open arms to let them come home.
Fair enough. Jane Kuhbander, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we're so sorry for your loss, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. We truly appreciate it. All right, you have a good night.